Hello, Quote Artisans. My name is Shonda, and welcome to my channel, Under the Needle. So I'm back on schedule. It's Thursday, so I'm here making a Thankful Thursday video. Um, I don't know how long. I think this is going to be, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a short video, but I am thankful that in 2 years and 138 days, my youngest child will be 18. I am incredibly thankful that I have more years behind me as a parent than I do in front of me. Now, I understand that just because your child turns 18 does not mean that they don't still need you, right? Because I know that, because mine still live here. My 27-year-old still lives here. And in this economy, really, where can she go? I mean, if you make, 15, 20 bucks an hour, I mean, it's hard to afford to live on your own. Especially if you have a car payment, like, there's just no place for her to live. I mean, realistically, not really. Yeah, so I'm glad because I don't have it in me anymore. I am tired of parenting. I'm tired. I am tired. Like, I don't even yell anymore. Like, I used to be a yeller. I used to yell as a parent. I used to yell all the time. And then at one point I caught myself yelling, and I was like, why am I yelling? Why am I yelling? Like, I am increasing my blood pressure. I am stressing myself out. There's no need to yell. Yeah. So, my son, the youngest one, he is 15. He will be 16 on December 5th. And he has been difficult lately. I'll just say that. He's been difficult lately. And I don't want to do it anymore. I am sick of parenting these children. Sick of it. Sick of it. So I'll be really happy when he turns 18, even though he's still probably going to live in my house. At least, he'll technically be an adult, and I'll know that I gave him all the tools that I needed to give him. I'll know that I raised him the right way. And then whatever happens after that is what happens after that, because like I don't even want to tell the story. Like, I don't even want to go into what he's been doing. I don't even want to, but I'm ready to be done. Honestly, like, if I could just I mean, I can't leave my son because, he's still a minor, but honestly, like, I feel like if I could just go to a deserted island where I don't have to worry about any people and there are no animals on the island, okay? There are no dangerous animals on my private island, okay? My private island is safe. I have everything that I need, okay? We got plenty of fabric. We got plenty of thread. And Amazon delivers, but it might take 30 days, right? Because somebody's going to have to get it and put it on a boat and sail to me to get my stuff, okay? If that's what I have to, the girls were easier. My girls were easier. They tell you the girls are harder, but at least my specific children, the girls were easier. They just were. My son is, I mean, honestly, I'd be like, sometimes I just want to look at him and be like, you sure you don't want to go live with your dad? Because I'd be okay with that. It'd be okay with me if you wanted to stay with him. Like, he wasn't a nice person to me, but he's a good dad to you. Don't you want to go? Would that be? Anywho, so yeah, that's what I'm thankful for. I have 2 years and 138 days. Actually, technically 137 and a half, right? Well, less than that. 2 years, 137 days, and 4 hours is what I have. And I am looking forward to it. I am looking forward to being able to take a vacation without having to pay for these extra people. I'll be able to go so many more places when I don't have to pay for these extra people, and it's going to be amazing. Now the 27-year-old, she was cut off. She's been cut off. Like, hey, you're not in school and you have a full-time job, so I'm not paying. So like when we took a cruise in, was it 2017? I think it was. I think it was, yeah, December 2017 we took a cruise. And it was around Christmas time. And so I was like, look, I'm not, right? Because you can only fit 4 people in your standard room. So to add a 5th person meant having to upgrade to a suite, which was going to drastically increase the price, or getting a separate room, which was going to drastically increase the price. And I was like, no, I'm not paying. And she wasn't living at home at the time either. So she wasn't even living here. She had moved out. And so I was like, yeah, I'm not. I said, but what I will do, since we're going to be there for Christmas, because the cruise sailed out of New Orleans. And so we took the cruise, and then when we came back, it was like the day before New Year's Eve. I mean, the day before Christmas Eve. So we were going to spend Christmas Eve, Christmas Day in New Orleans, and then leave the next day. And so what I did was I bought her a plane ticket. I bought her a one-way plane ticket so she could fly from where we live to New Orleans, and then she could drive back with us. That way she could spend Christmas with us, but I'm not paying for the cruise. And then when we took the last cruise that we took, I was like, well, this is how much money it's going to cost for you to go, and I will pay half of it if you pay the other half. And so I think it was like $500 she was going to have to pay, and she didn't want to pay it. So I was like, okay. And so the middle one, she'll be 21 next month, right? And so I pretty much kind of got her there as well. Like, I feel like if we take another, well, generally we sail Norwegian, and Norwegian, like your 3rd and 4th guests are free. So it doesn't really cost me anything to bring her, but maybe the taxes and fees. So maybe $200. So it's fine. It's fine. But like other stuff like excursions, she might have to pay for that. I don't know. So once they're all kind of there, so maybe not the 2 years and 138 days, but certainly in the next 5 years, hopefully I'll be able to take vacations without having to pay for these extra people. Like, children are expensive. It's not just the clothes and the food. Like, when you go places, you have to bring them too. The horror. The horror. When you can't just go to Disney World. You got to bring them too. You can't just go. But you know what? It's still not over, because my fiance, his daughter, she might be spending some time with us now. So, and she's 12. So I just added an extra 3 years and change to my So I guess maybe in a decade. What am I? I'm about to be 47 this year. So hopefully by the time I'm maybe 55, I'll be able to travel as much as I want because I won't have to pay for extra children. Anywho, so just a little catch up. So I had a great weekend last weekend. I had bought Adrian, my fiance, I bought him some tickets to a comedy show that was going to be on Saturday. And so I bought him for Christmas. And so the show came up. And so we decided and it was in Durham, which is literally less than an hour's drive from where we live. So it's not exactly a staycation, but sort of. Right? We didn't go far. We had a great time. I think I talked about that a little bit in my earlier video. But it was great. We had a great time. We we just got a hotel for 2 nights. So Friday, after work and everything, we just drove out there, stayed at the hotel. Then Saturday we got up and it was hot. It was hot as blazes, but we decided to go to this outlet mall because he wanted a Nike hat to wear with his outfit that day. We did not find a Nike hat, but I did find a very, very, very nice pair of Converse. I love me some Converse. Found a great pair of Converse. And then we went to the show. And initially, what I had wanted to do was to get an Uber or a Lyft to the show and back. That way we didn't have to drive, we didn't have to park, we could get front door service, right? But he was like, no, I think it'll be all right. It's not going to be bad. I was like, okay. Well, we had went to a vape store. Now, in North Carolina, marijuana is illegal, okay? But there are certain legal products that you can purchase. And so we decided that we were going to try some gummies. And so we took the gummies. So we got to the venue and we parked the car. And while we're in the car, we go ahead and we pop these gummies. I think actually I took mine before that. Because it takes a while to kick in. And it was only like a 15-minute ride from the hotel to the venue. So I think I actually took mine before that. But they started kicking in, because normally I've taken them before, and they take a couple hours. This kicked in a little quickly. And at 7:30, I'm at the show. It hasn't started yet. And I am thoroughly toasted to the point where I'm like, I don't know if I can move. I don't know if movement is a skill set that I have right now. And then I looked over at him and he was like not doing so great either. And I'm like, I'm glad this show is starting late because I'm going to need all of this time to recover from these gummies. Right? So, before we went in, right? So on the way up, we stopped. Of course, we went to the bathroom. We went to the little concession stand and I got a glass of wine, right? Got a glass of wine. And so I put my glass of wine down and I didn't touch it. I'm like, I need these gummies to work through my system, right? But I was still I think I might be getting the time wrong. I don't know. So it was about an hour went by. And I was feeling, I'm like, okay. The gummies have peaked and I'm going to be okay. So I'm like, okay, well, the show hadn't, well, I think at this point, the show still hadn't started. Um, it was like 8:30. The show was supposed to start at 7. It was 8:30. Now I'm trying to remember if the opening act had started, or like if I went between the opening act or not, but I don't think so. I think it's before anything. So it's 8:30 and nothing has started. So I'm like, okay, well, let me go use the bathroom because, I'm 46. I got to pee a lot. So let me go use the bathroom, right? And then let me get something to drink. Let me get something cold to drink. So I go use the bathroom, and I went and I got another glass of wine because I'm like, if the show hasn't started yet, then it's going to be a while. I'm going to be here a while. And even though I hadn't touched the first glass of wine, I'm greedy. So I got I got a glass of wine, another glass of wine, and I got a Coca-Cola or a Coke Zero or something. So we go inside and I start drinking the Coca-Cola. Everything's fine. The opening act comes out. The second comedian comes out. And I'm still sipping on this Coca-Cola. And then the main act comes out. And I'm like, my mouth is dry. The Coca-Cola is gone at this point. And my mouth is dry. And I'm like Sahara dry. Just like I felt like there was powder in my mouth. It was exceptionally dry. And I'm looking over at my man, and either he's asleep or his eyes are so low that he looks asleep. And all I wanted in that moment was a bottle of water. Like, because all the gummies were gone. The gummies were gone. I hadn't drank any of the wine. So really, I just had cotton mouth. And if I could have got a bottle of water, I think I would have been okay. But I didn't want to miss the show to go get water. So I just kind of suffered and pushed through. So when it's all over, we're leaving, and we go outside, and he's not looking good. He's like, because I could already tell he wasn't well. I could tell he wasn't well, but I was like, do you want to go use the bathroom, maybe splash some water on your face? And he was like, no, I just need some air, which is weird because it was like 90 degrees out. It was so hot outside when we got outside. And he was like, I just need to sit down. And he found a place and he sat. And his arms were sweating. Like I could see visible sweat on his arms. It was like he was burning up from the inside. And I kept thinking he was going to fall. Like, so he's sitting up and he's like, and I'm like, no, because I don't want like anybody to come over, right? Because the last thing I want is attention. Because at this point I'm fine, except I still need water, right? I'm very hot. My mouth is still incredibly dry. And really all I need is something to drink. And this man is out of it, like out of it. And I'm like, I'm directionally challenged, right? And when we got to the venue, we were running kind of late as far as when we left the hotel. So when we left the when we parked, I wasn't really paying attention to how we walked from the parking lot to the venue. Wasn't really paying attention. And honestly, even if I had been paying attention, I still probably wouldn't have been able to get back to the parking lot. Okay. So I looked at him and I'm like, look, we might have to leave the car here. We might just have to call an Uber or something. I don't know what's going to happen. I said, because look, I can get us home, right? Because the GPS can get me home, but I can't find the car. Like I can barely find my car in a Walmart parking lot. There's no way I'm going to be able to I got to find the parking lot first, then the car. Now, the only thing good was that he was like, take a picture. When we left, he was like, take a picture of the parking lot. There was like a sign when we left. He was like, take a picture. The only thing that saved us is that we were out there and we saw this guy on this little golf cart and we were like, we're looking for this parking lot. I don't know where it is. And he was like, oh, no problem. Stand over there with them. I'll take you. So apparently they had some kind of courtesy shuttle. So we're last in line. So of course we're going to be last to get picked up. But the courtesy shuttle saved our lives. One, because once we got on the back of the golf cart, we got some air. There was like some air. And so we were able to cool off. And he took us to the parking lot, and then we were able to take the elevator to our car and find the car. And then we had some Gatorade in the car, so we were able to get something to drink, and I was able to drive us back to the hotel. I felt like a teenager. I felt like I was like, what? I am too old for this to be happening to me. Like, I was legit a little bit afraid because I'm like, I didn't want like security. Like, I was afraid he was going to fall and security was going to come and they were going to start asking questions. And I just didn't want any heat or smoke because I am such a straight arrow. Like, I'm a straight arrow. Like, I'm a rule follower is what I should say. I like to follow the rules. So I didn't want I didn't want anybody coming around. I didn't want anybody asking any questions. I didn't want to attract any attention. So it worked out. We were able to, and there were some benches. I did not sit because it had rained while we were inside the show and the benches were wet. He sat on them anyway because he was tore up. Okay. He really was. And I honestly just think the heat, I don't know. The heat got a hold of him. I don't know what it was. I don't know what happened, but he was out of it. He was out of it. And honestly, I was too. It's about 10:30 at this point when we're outside. It took me 3 hours to level out. 3 hours. I mean, honestly, I was probably fine by about 9 o'clock, 9:30. I was okay. But at this point, then by the time we sat outside, waited, it figured out what we're going to do, then found the shuttle, then took the shuttle to the car, went up 6 flights, and it was probably about 11 o'clock at this point. So yeah, we had a fun time. We had a good time. We decided that we are going to try to do it a bit more often. Because we've never done that. Like, we've gone away, but we've never done anything where, like, stayed close to home. Like, we've gone to the beach and where you got to, pack up. But, like, as far as just going, an hour down the road and getting a room and just hanging out for a weekend, we've just never done it. And we had a good time. We had a good time. It kind of made us, I don't know, because it was just me and him, no kids, no nobody, just me and him. No beds to make, no dinner to cook, no dishes to wash, no laundry to fold. And then when it's all said and done, you're back home in less than an hour. So, and then if anything were to happen with the kids, we're less than an hour away. We had a really good time. We really had a good time. I had a great time. Sewing. I still need to make my sew sampler block from the last box we got. I have not made that. I think I'm just going to wait until the next box comes and then I'm just going to make them both. I think that's just what I'm going to do. Doesn't make sense to pull that fabric out and then have to pull it back out a week later when the next box comes. So there's that. I don't know why. So I started cutting out a project because I wanted to use the new ruler that I got from So Be It Quilts. So I took it out and I was going to cut out a project. So I cut the project out, but then I started sewing it. So I started a new project. So I cut everything out and I've got all the block components. So I've got these pieces and I've got these pieces And I've got these pieces. And I'm missing something. I'm missing a piece. Some other components. Interesting. Where are the rest of my block components? Anyway, so I've got all my components sewn. I've got all my units made. Oh, here they go. These units here. So I've got all my units made. And then basically you put your components together to make your block. And I have made a couple of blocks. I don't know why I started another project. And I've already pieced the back. And I still have so much fabric left from the line. This line was called Violet Femme, and it was from Boundless. And I still have all of this fabric left. So after doing all the components for the top and piecing the back, I still have all of this fabric left over. So don't be surprised if you might see some kind of giveaway featuring this fabric, because I won't do it yet because I don't have all my blocks made, and I don't want to give away everything and then I might need fabric and then I'm kind of stuck. So I don't want to do that. But once the quilt is made, I'll probably do something with. I'll probably keep these two here. And this is purple. It looks very much blue, but it's not. It's very much purple. This is very much purple. They both look blue. This is really true. This is almost exactly the color. I think it reads a tiny bit darker on screen, like a tiny bit darker, but not much. But these are looking blue and they are decidedly purple, like a dark purple. Sometimes I can get the color to come right. Oh, no. Anywho, so the quilt is called Aubrey. This is a free pattern by Studio E Fabrics. It's a square quilt, which I'm not a fan of, so I'm making 4 extra blocks. So instead of making 16 blocks, I'll be making 20. So mine will be 48 by 60, because that's just what I prefer. I thought about potentially since I've got all this fabric left, maybe doing a border, but I've already pieced the back and I pieced it to match 48 by 60, and I don't want to add additional pieces to make it bigger to accommodate a border. So I won't be making more. So yeah, that's pretty much what's been going on with me. That's what's been going on with me. Just chilling. Glad to be kind of back. Glad to be back on schedule. Glad to be kind of like through being tired and have caught up on sleep, and glad to be It was a rough few weeks. It was a rough 3 weeks. It really was. Just a lot going on. Just not a lot of sleep. And I'm just glad that all of that is over with. We might do a little shindig this Saturday because the party got rained out, so we didn't really get to shoot all our fireworks off. So we are going to try to do it this Saturday since it's not going to rain. But it's going to be kind of informal, hamburgers, hot dogs, that type of thing. Simple, easy peasy, not like the normal party. So I'm looking forward to that. I always like getting together with family. It's always a good time. My family's always a good time. My aunt is, she's still doing well. She is still in treatment. She was having problems with her eyesight that was, being caused by the tumor, and the tumor has been shrinking, so that's been alleviated. She was having issues with mobility, but Again, the tumor in her brain has been shrinking, and so that's getting better as well. You know, it's still a long road. It's a long road. Her sister, my aunt Sandra, came from California at the end of last month. So she'll be here until the end of August, and then she goes back to California. My mom, she got where she can like work from home now, and she only has to go into the office 1 day a week. So when my aunt Sandra has to go back to California, my mom is going to move up here because right now my aunt is staying with one of my grandmother's sisters, my great aunt Lois. But my grandmother was the oldest of 13 children. So her youngest siblings are the same ages as her children. So my Aunt Lois is like the same age as my great Aunt Lois, my grandmother's sister, one of her sisters, one of her youngest sisters, not the youngest, but the second youngest sister is like the same age as my mom and her sisters. They were basically raised together. So that's where my aunt is living right now because actually she was moving. So she had an apartment and she was actually in the middle of moving and she was going to stay with my Aunt Lois temporarily while she found a different apartment. Just like as a temporary thing. But then all of this happened and then it was kind of like, well, that kind of worked out because you had already given up your apartment. You were already moving. So it just kind of made it easy for her to kind of move in with my Aunt Lois instead of just staying there on a like temporary basis for a couple of weeks until she moved. Then it became, I'm going to stay there until I get better. So when my Aunt Sandra goes back to California at the end of August, my mom is going to move in and so she can be, and since she'll be working from home, she'll be able to take her to her appointments and she'll be able to be there, because she can't be alone right now. And she'll be able to be there and kind of look after her and that kind of stuff, which, kind of helps take the burden off of me because I still don't have a car and, so it helps. It helps. So yeah, she's still in treatment. She's got a long way to go. Things are looking positive right now, and we're just going to pray on that and hope that everything works out, and that she is fine. We're going to speak it into existence, right? So that is it for me, and I'll see you guys next.